In a world chasing trends, some creators choose something far more powerful: timelessness. Meet Rimple and Harpreet Narula, the voices behind one of India's most intricate and culturally rich couture houses. Hi, guys.
Hi.
So first of all, what does couture stand for you?
For me, couture stands for self expression. It certainly does not stand for luxury, but it stands for something that has been created for a person or somebody who's buying it or wearing it, keeping them in mind and to express them and represent them, the best version of them.
Yeah. For me, now, if you ask me what couture stands for in so many years in business, I think it stands for a journey which we've come a long way. And there's a certain language which we present to our patrons who have started recognizing us for this kind of couture.
How did you start? What's your journey like?
Go ahead.
So, I guess we started around 25 years back, and it was we really didn't think that this. I didn't think that this probably is going to be, you know, my main profession. I was always just very interested in collecting antiques, archival textiles, restoring old furniture, those finer things in life. And I always used to appreciate, uh, you know, I always felt textiles and objects have a story to tell. They have memories, and so all of that interested me a lot more than the real material aspect of it. And that journey probably was somewhere down the line developing my aesthetic, and with that I started designing clothes for friends and family. My brother was getting married, and more weddings and friends and everything. It just started just like a little bit of a hobby, unless I realized that I had so much of work and I had to make it my full-time job.
That's right. What about you?
Well, yes, it's been a long journey, and the constant quest to make something for myself, because when you're creative, you want to create on your own. And probably in that, I realized that something what I make or what we make together has a very strong aesthetic and a language. When people started appreciating what I was wearing, or initially, like he said, started for friends and family, is when we actually realized that this should be a full-time profession, because we wanted to really give something to our audience that we strongly believe in.
And how much has Punjab been an influence?
And it's shaped us, all the childhood memories. We've grown up in Punjab,
Right.
learning from our grandparents and parents. There has been a certain style. Punjab itself has a very strong aesthetic.
Yes.
And
So, Punjab also last uh, maybe 30, 40 years has changed a lot. So, I mean, when we were kids, India was probably a way more younger country post independence, and both our families, we are we are from Pakistan, and we moved into India during the partition. And I remember, so our grandparents, and they had spent their lives, their childhood, their lives, their youth in Pakistan, and they could relate to a lot, like more of the sensibilities were a little different. Like I remember as a child, we used to have a Urdu newspaper coming to a house, and he used to be listening to fairs and Khayyam and all those, and similar literature also I've seen, and so was the Punjabi literature. So, and in the clothes also, which my grandmother used to have, and how, and I if I would look at my father's uh, uh, clothes, which probably some of them I used to kind of could feel, that journey of culture, that transition, that there were elements which were always coming and how they were changing. So the whole northwest frontier has always had a very important role. Probably it has always been the backbone, because I've always felt that if you want to understand history, you just start understanding the textiles. That's what I always tell my assistant designers, that you look at a textile and you go back and trace the influences it has, and whether it is a certain kind of print or a weave or like how Tanchui, which is a brocade, which is a Banarsi fabric, is actually a Chinese is adapted from a Chinese textile, and otherwise the zari brocades are all adapted from Persian. And so there's so many, those influences are very interesting. And the whole northwest frontier and Punjab, right from Punjab up till probably Samarkand, we have always followed that majorly as a backbone of inspiration.
Beautiful. As children, I think your first learning or your influence is your parents and your grandparents.
Right.
And I think I always give credit to my grandparents, especially my dadi, I think, who's very fashionable even back then, with her intricately done lace dupattas that she used to wear on her head. I think that has remained in my head while we have designed for our label on the
Some particular, fabric which has always intrigued you and which you started with, like your first piece from that fabric.
Well, I think it should be kincob, right?
Yeah, a lot of kinkwabs. I have a huge archive of old fulkaris,
Okay.
and from the family, and the fulkaris which happen probably around Patiala are very different from the fulkaris that happen around a little ahead of Sialkot and all that. And the colors are very different. Those are yellow, and these have more of magentas and pinks and all that. And I just so I feel how much fulkari is a traditional textile. It's as contemporary if you look at the way how graphic it is. And sorry, I lost your question.
It was a fabric.
Yeah, so lots of fabrics. Our style is very eclectic and kitsch. We like to combine a lot of textiles and into this one particular garment. But and how even we look at Chatapati for color blocking, which is a very Lucknow thing. But off late, last few years, I've been making a lot of clothes, but I've been doing these handmade crochet laces coming as a trim, which I'm quite fascinated about.
Right?
Yeah. The predictable is boring actually.
I know it has become
It's a combination of various techniques and various things, and like you said, we are very intuitive in our design, and like you said, we do a lot of eclectic work. So it involves a lot of techniques and a lot of things all put into one garment. And it's like the fun.
When you talk about eclectic, I know you are the designers behind Padmaavat, a film where costumes just didn't dress characters, they told history. What do you think when you went to such a set, when, it was assigned to you? What was your first thought?
So, you take that.
Well, when Mr. Bansali called someone, you definitely know you're the chosen one.
Sure. What?
When this kind of an opportunity comes, you try and give your best. We were very fortunate to have worked with him not only once but twice, once with Padmaavat and second time with Heeramandi. The responsibility is huge because that man is an institution and there's so much to learn.
Right. Any day. And how was it like, designing for one of the most beautiful women, in India right now? Deepika Padukone. How was the experience?
Tell me, how was your experience?
I think so. It probably makes our job very easy because everything just looks very good on her.
No, yeah.
And then we have worked with so many actresses, but one thing I can say that she is the least fussy actor to work with. I mean, probably, she has that body language in that style. Maybe she knows that, she can make anything work or what it is. Um, Everything looks very good on her. She understands, she has a very good eye, and she understands the design language and where the designer is coming from. And she absolutely lets the designer do her job, and she has that kind of confidence, no insecurity where it comes to costumes, which is very rare. And I think absolutely she's a great person to dress up, to make clothes for.
And what about Heeramandi? There were so many, film, heroines in Heeramandi, which was the best experience.
Heeramandi.
Deciding for which actress was the best experience in Heeramandi.
All of them, because their characters were so beautifully written and etched.
Right.
So, although they were all living in the same place, Shahi Mahal or what, they all had little nuances, and those had to be carry forwarded into the costumes. And then, there were a lot of scenes where we were trying to keep the clothes in harmony so that the storytelling also does not get affected. And it's I mean, the whole, not just the clothes, the whole look is the whole film is so beautifully designed. And then the clothes also had to have these little details which make every actor's etched a little different from each other.
The clothes have already all enhanced the personality. You always lend your own personality to the clothes, and that's what is always in harmony with their own personal personality, which would reflect with the clothes. They were playing characters, each, there was a power dynamic in the whole thing, but each one lends their own personality. Manisha ji has her own sense of strength and calm,
Right.
and then there is the what's
Aditi,
Aditi,
who's so beautiful.
actually gorgeous.
Yeah.
So Richa was a powerhouse as a performer, although her role was a little less in the whole episodes, but she had a power performance, and so did her clothes. Like whatever the sarees they gave her, were very powerful. So it's really different. I miss working with.
I'm sure ये question आपसे बार बार पूछा गया होगा, but कहा जाता है that संजय लीला भंसाली के साथ काम करना is like because he makes the actors I would not say cry, but he makes the actors just etch out the most beautiful acting and the most beautiful character. So was it the same case with you guys also when you were on set?
I think with us,
Honestly, I don't know why people say that, because he was always extremely nice to us. And having said that, sometimes he used to, when he likes something, because he's a creative person and I can absolutely relate to that when he likes something, he gets excited and he expresses that. And when he doesn't like something, probably too. But but that was not the case with us. And every time the appreciation, and he was so allowed in liking, and and saying, and he used to probably like the clothes so much that he used to make sure that every detail of it is also
captured
and shown, and he didn't want to waste it. And all of that, when that is happening on the set, and when I'm noticing that, okay, the just it's although the script and the actors and the way he's doing the film, that is way more important than the costumes importance is still limited, because
he's the man who brings the best out of all actors and designers. I think one thing he explained to us when we were working on Padmaavat, and it was an introduction to him, that we were so new to the industry, and we were chosen for it. I think he did clearly told me, he sat me down and he explained to me that this is once in a lifetime opportunity. It's the world who's going to see you. I am doing this project. I don't know whether will I be able to deliver something of this scale again or not. Give it your best. And I think that has remained with me while we've designed and we've gone through our journey. We try to give him more options whenever he asks for.
Okay.
Just to get that one glance of happiness and satisfaction, okay, like he likes.
Okay, I think you're the favorites of Sanjay Leela Bhansali.
I hope
Put it
so.
that way. I would put it that way.
Yes.
Okay, so coming to another magnum opus which you are a part of again, which is the Ramayan. And, what does it take to design someone, that millions of people already believe in, So, now we're stepping in the world of Ram. And, because how do you even begin designing such, somebody as great an actor as Ranbir Kapoor? And that too, a character like Ram.
Shadik. First and foremost, when you say Ram, you forget you're a divine. All that remains with you is your faith. And that is super important while you are creating something for somebody who billions have believed in, who's not a character, but a belief.
Exactly. Yes.
Even while talking to you, literally I've got goosebumps because you cannot casually talk about something like this. That we've grown up watching, believing, having instead of unwavering belief and faith in this word called Shah. Right. So it was a sense of pause, and then came huge.
So was there any fear of getting it wrong?
We were trying to work through not just trying to make the look authentic, because authentic can have a lot of definitions. Ramayan in India is one kind of a thing, and then there are versions of Ramayan in the Southeast Asia also, in Bali or in Thailand and everything. And if you'll go through their scriptures, it will be the costumes and everything will be those interpretations. So while we were internally discussing what Ram and Sita should be and how authentic and research, we did all the research, everything, but we came to one conclusion that besides the research, we have to keep everything according to faith also. Like how would any of us close our eyes and imagine Ram, or want to see Ram, or goddess Sita, or so it must also comply to the faith which we've had for ages, besides the authenticity, which is also extremely important, and that is what we were trying to bring together while we were designing the overall look of the costumes of the film. And then the whole film also has like a whole graph. I mean, there's no spoiler because everybody knows what generally. Obviously, the film has a lot more detail to offer, and it's extremely well nuanced. But there's a whole graph, and then we just try that the costumes probably can just help in some way the whole narrative of the film. So that's what we were doing.
Right. So you said about emotions. So did it feel any, pressure, or did it feel, very heavy, to you when you were assigned the responsibility?
Like I said, after the pause came the excitement.
I'm sure, yeah.
And after the excitement came the responsibility. But I must say that after the responsibility came the strength.
Oh, yeah. I think Bhagwan Ram gave that to you, yes.
Then the process started. I clearly remember, I think it's almost been 2 years when we were called for the look test, and I packed the clothes in the bag and I took them there. I mean, just imagine, like when you have so many people around you, you've been called for, with a lot of faith and trust, you've been called, you've given that trust factor that, okay, you guys are going to design it, give us a look test. How the look test happens. And then you have this superstar who's walking in and who has to be presented in a certain way. That all, I still remember how it all came to life, and I think it was some divine power.
Right.
And Ranbir changed into the costume. The cameras were on. The moment he walked in dressed as Lord Ram.
Outright.
Everything came to a standstill. And the whole idea around Lord Ram was like the noises stopped. Every noise which is a hindrance around the idea of depicting Lord Ram stopped.
Okay.
I can only say that.
Okay, so when Ranbir Kapoor wore the Ram costume, like you just mentioned it, he still looked like Ranbir.
No, no. That's actually
That's the beauty. I mean, that is how.
that's the quality probably which very few actors would have to absolutely, besides everybody knowing that he's such a big star, but that no, he looked. I mean, he is Ranbir, but he absolutely looks his part.
I do think people who are true to their craft, like Ranbir, like he's no, I mean, I don't need to mention that he is one of the leading actors and one of the most wonderful human beings I've ever met.
Okay.
Yes, very, very, very good. I have no words. Ranbir is a delight to work with. He's so easygoing. He gives you the comfort.
Oh,
Yes, absolutely. And he's so respectful, so good to work with. The moment, he was in his attire, and I'm literally telling you, I had the first hand experience, the light and the camera was on. I'm telling you, the noises had stopped.
there was an energy shift.
100%.
Like Lord Ram had, just descended upon earth in front of you.
Well, I certainly believe that. Because to actually build something like this, I mean, the last I remember was when I was a young child and I used to like watch it on TV, the Ramayan and Sagar's Ramayan. And after that, I think something of that scale, which our children are going to watch and learn, is this. And you need divine blessings for it.
Of course, you need those, Yes. Did you have to unlearn what Ram is all about to design him again?
No, not. We just have to know that what we are doing. Obviously, sometimes you do something and back in your own workshops and you doing and you keep things together. Some things work, some things don't work. But in our mind,
Consciously you avoided.
Well, I think we consciously avoided to make Ram decorative. We didn't want him to look over designed or over decorated just for the sake of divinity. We wanted him to look restrained. It's important.
It is.
Sometimes less is more.
More.
The strength, the power could have come with simpler outfits more than just, putting just overly decorated things on it.
Okay. Did it seem predictable at any point?
no, that's the whole challenge, and that's for you guys to decide when you see. So for us, that was because there is only that much that you're supposed to do, but at the same time you have to kind of make it a little interesting, but not by changing the whole thing. And this is something done very much by book.
Right.
But it's just that the quality and the coordination of colors and how which scene and bringing some like a lot of these textures, because those days there were no textiles which were power loomed or which were coming from those high-end machines, and everything had to be the fabric would have been woven by hand or everything. So we're just trying to create something that probably has the authenticity, and we're trying to keep make clothes which probably also play their part as the script requires.
Right. I feel, going back and learning what it was about, it was a slow life back then.
Right.
So it was your attire, your clothes, your fabrics, your textiles, which emit a certain emotion. And that had to be taken in while designing. You have to see that what you're wearing is parallel to what you're living. That's important.
And I think Can you describe this Ram in 3 words? Just 3 words.
No, this Ram or Ram?
This Ram, yeah.
Okay, this Ram.
This Ram,
I don't
yeah.
know, I think
It's not much different
yeah,
from
because
the
I think the
from.
qualities will overlap.
Yeah, it is the same thing.
Okay.
I mean, I would say courageous,
Okay.
righteous, and I would say the quality of truth. Yeah.
Okay. Good. Okay. Okay. So if somebody had to mute the entire film, just mute it, what would your costumes tell about Ram now?
See, not only this film, I've always spoken about this even before, that if you mute a film,
Right.
a costume tells
Can
you a
story. It does.
I mean, the story can be overlapping with what you are thinking and what is being projected, but you will get it right. Ultimately, when you just look at a film which is on mute, you know what Provence is talking about, what era is talking about. It's the costume, it's the costume.
But
Easy.
But it's not for us to take the credit, because putting them together and designing the whole film, it's also
A lot
the
more than
director
us, yes.
and the producer. I mean, the kind of integrity and honesty that Nitesh ji and
Namit.
they have towards this project. And it's not just about the budget, it's about taking the whole concept very seriously, and taking it and it's not that they wanted to make such an expensive film.
Right.
Probably the film demanded it.
Yep.
And they were ready to go and create that kind of a scale. I mean, those guys have really, I feel, created a masterpiece. They've really taken the
No
whole,
stone unturned.
Yeah.
Every costume detail has been taken care. I mean, I haven't seen a producer
No.
like Namit who has actually taken keen interest in every little thing with every frame to frame. He's always been around, whether he's in LA or whether he's in Bombay. We've been on video calls, Zoom calls, every little detail, every look test, every new characters to be etched properly with full detail.
but for this, I would say the credit should be going to the director
And what?
and the producer, because
But the harmony is
Yeah,
wonderful.
because-
They've been
because
working on
it
it for
is-
many years.
it is them who are going to correctly place
The
that
character,
that outfit and the character and the whole thing for it to be out there, and for
There's
them.
a certain sense of seriousness to the entire project.
Absolutely. We are very grateful for the team. They have been
That's
aligned
one
with
emotion
each
which
other.
is standing out. Everybody was very serious about the
Yes.
project. Everybody wanted to put in the best, and of course, get output as the best. Right.
Have you seen the teaser?
I did.
What do you think about it?
Beautiful. That's beyond what Indian cinema has yet produced. Okay. So was there ever a design which you loved, but you felt you had to reject it because it was too beautiful for Ram?
Well, Harpreet has rejected a lot, and he's still rejecting for Ramayan too.
Oh, okay.
No, I reject every day. That's my job. Actually, I would not say reject, but to edit.
Edit, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the best job,
The-
isn't it?
The
Yeah.
No.
beauty of designing this character is in the simplicity and not the ostentatiousness.
Right.
When you design for royalty or for my clients, there's no limit. Like you can put more embroidery like they want, but here the process is different.
I just feel in designing, what I've learned over the years, the simpler you go, even if it's a heavy garment, the simpler you go in your interpretation of design or motifs or textiles, the more profound it is. So that applies whether you are designing costumes for films or whether you are making clothes for somebody, some brides or whatever. It just works way better if you keep your ideas limited to fewer ideas and you apply them in a very simple way.
The distractions are too many now. I just feel that not only us but everyone around us are getting distracted a lot.
Yes.
and to just cut off yourself from those distractions and concentrate on what your inner ability is telling you to do. That's
what
why
output you want, yeah.
like we quite sometimes get asked trends and do you follow trends. That's one thing we don't. Pinterest is banned in our factory.
No, Pinterest is okay. Google, absolute, like Google पे जाओ और first 10 results को देख के do your research.
Google Trends.
Google Trends, yes. So when something is so culturally sacred, so did you design very freely, or did you feel watched, or were you wondering that how would the audience react? Was all this kept in mind when you were designing?
Well, subconsciously, I would say it was always there because, like we said, responsibility was huge. And to design for some, like we designed literally the whole, all the characters.
All the characters, yes.
But the first reveal is with Lord Ram. There was always a moral compass which was followed. However, if you refrain so much and you always think about what everyone's going to think, you cannot design.
So you did not think much about what the audience would say or what the audience would react like.
Once
but
we both had decided that what we are going to make and we jot down the colors, the silhouette had to be what we cannot change the silhouette much. However, make it relevant and the audience to connect. It's very important.
It is very important.
What if the audience doesn't connect?
Exactly, as from somebody who's so culturally and spiritually sacred, so it becomes an added.
We went back to the scriptures, the
Right.
iconography, the old sacred pictures, paintings, everywhere, whatever we could gather. But at the end of it, it was all coming down to how do we interpret it.
Right. As designers of modern India, of the 21st century, how would you interpret Ram?
And again, as I'm saying, it should not interfere with somebody's faith
and
belief of how they have, or how everybody, how we and everyone visualizes the characters of Ramayan, and it should just conform to that. That's more important.
I think when you just close your eyes and envision, that is what you, I think, brought to
Create.
life and create.
Nice.
Especially with this one.
Okay, harking back to Sanjay Leela Bhansali a bit, but that's maximalism, right? And then this is absolute minimalism. This is what, as a viewer, I can understand. So, is there a difference in your eyes as well when you start designing?
So, Ramayan is not minimalistic also. Because Lanka was Sone ki Lanka, and it's very opulent, and when he's a prince, it's all opulent, and then there's a graph, so it's very interesting, and I would not speak about it, but let people see it. And for Mr. Bhansali, also although the whole thing looks very grand and very spectacular and almost like, but it's that's not probably the objective. The objective is only to create a more interesting visual. Ultimately, he's also a storyteller, and the way he tells the story is also extremely beautiful. So costumes only have one part to play in the whole thing, and it's our job is actually to help the director while he's building the whole thing up.
Character in the movie, yes. So, but is simplicity more difficult? Again,
yes, in a way, because you should know when to hold back. It's very important. I think simplicity is difficult because as designers, what you have to learn is when to hold back and still act the character the way it needs it.
Actually, what is most difficult in design is balance.
Yes.
It's not about heavy, or it's not about light, or it's not about sometimes you can put 400 types of different cutters of fabric and create, and they can all look very balanced. and sometimes it's so difficult to balance these two colors together. you know, so it's all about, sometimes just you can make something, and to balance it you just have to add this one little color or one piping, like a facing or one something, and the piece starts looking balanced.
I think
So-
that's in every art form.
Every
Yeah.
other,
Like,
right.
whether it's cooking or it's painting, I think that is that one thing, that sweet balance.
Sweet balance, right? Even in life, I think the sweet balance. Everybody is, yearning and
True.
aiming, and for that sweet balance. So, did you think you sort of achieved that sweet balance with the?
No, it is honestly, this is something that nobody really can ever achieve, because it is also, it just keeps changing every day. That is why we call it fashion. Although however textiles and everything can be timeless, but it's still a evolvement. I mean, if it was not, then we would not want to change the colors of our walls, and if we would, or everyday people are changing clothes or buying something or changing their sofa or changing their curtain, and they're just trying to balance,
Balance,
yeah.
But with this project, more than balance, harmony was very important.
Oh yes.
Because divinity needs a very harmonious balance of
It
what you see on the visuals.
Very right. It does. It does. Okay, so coming back to your mainstay, mainstay of I think every designer in India, Indian weddings. So Indian weddings, I feel, are basically mythology in designer wear. So do you agree or disagree?
Every little girl growing up in India has prayed in some form to Lord Rama and Sita, Krishna and Radha,
Right.
and
Shiv
so
and
on,
Parvati,
Shiv
yes.
and Parvati.
Yes.
And somewhere in her subconscious mind, when she gets married, she probably would dress up in a
Right.
certain way. And that's the reason red has been so prevalent in India as the bridal color, because you see those old calendar pictures or any wallpapers anywhere, if you remember.
Yes.
Now it's becoming more digital, but we've
yes.
seen it
Of
like
course, we
in
have,
those
yes.
small calendar pictures.
Calendar pictures.
And you see the color, every divine energy form of whether Sita or Parvati has worn
yes.
is towards red or brighter Indian jewel colors.
Right.
And I think hence, while we design and you look around in our store, the colors are such for the brides.
Of course. Yes, yes. So,
What do you think?
I don't know.
You let me answer that.
So, what would a Ramayan inspired bride look like in 2026?
It's always been happening. When people do get married, people say ये तो बिल्कुल राम और सीता लग रहे हैं.
जी, पार्वती लग रहे हैं.
बिल्कुल,
If
बिल्कुल
somebody if somebody is blessed with a daughter, people say घर में लक्ष्मी आई है. So I mean, those connotations have always been there in our culture and how people react.
That's what I said. Subconsciously, you are born with that, and you are born with that feeling. And whenever you pray, or the Navratris, when you sajao the swaroop of Mata, you always put red.
Red, yes.
Because you feel that red emotes color, power, divinity, and that's how it's going to be the same. And now I think probably the brides would lean towards looking more like Ito Ramsi.
So this is a very small round, rapid fire. So, whom would you choose, Ram or Ranbir?
Ram.
Oh, okay. Even you?
100%.
You won't choose the heartthrob of the nation.
I really am very fond of Ranbir, and I think he's doing a great job. But
Of course.
Ranbir playing Ram.
Nicely put. Okay, minimal or majestic?
Minimally majestic.
Okay, divine or cinematic?
Cinematic.
Divine.
Any day. Oh, okay, that's nice. That's nice.
Once it's divine, I think it'll become cinematic.
Cinematic, yes. Okay, just one word for this project.
What do you say?
Faith.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say the same.
Faith. So faith. Okay.
Honestly,
I would say thankful. I mean, because just for the way.
no, it's for us. We are very thankful.
Gratitude, yeah.
I meant faith in terms of Our world needs it.
Oh wow.
This world we're living in needs to be connected back
To faith.
to faith. And I think this project is going to, you will see the difference.
Okay.
I'm confident.
Okay. So how is it like working with Ranbir Kapoor? You know, he's known for his
I had never met him before.
Okay.
I'd seen him only in
films.
movies and films. The first day I met him, and he was like, "Hi, I'm Ranbir," and he was like, his face, his body language literally express a sense of calm. And kudos to his upbringing. I've met Neetuji a couple of times. We've shot with her in our house, and Ritma's a very dear friend of mine. But I think Ranbir, what a boy!
Okay.
Such a calm and composed person, easygoing, master of his craft. You have to see him when the lights and the camera is on. And he's somebody who would speak less but will deliver the best.
Wow. Okay. That's so nice. Anything you?
I've
like
worked
to
with so many
add?
other stars.
Of course you have.
He's
Yes.
unlike
Okay.
most of them. Like
Most of
he's
them.
a quieter person.
Okay.
No, he's absolutely delightful to
Delightful
work with.
to
Yeah.
work with. Okay. And what about Sai Pallavi?
Well, I mean, she really. I don't think any other girl would have looked that part.
Okay.
You know, not just as an actress, but she's so innocent looking, and the way she embodies the whole sense of Sita. I really don't think any other mainstream actress could have done that. Honestly, I think so.
Okay.
No, I mean, hats off to the makers, the producers, the director, the casting directors, everybody, the whole team. I think the selection of the
Yeah,
actors,
the
is-
casting,
is-
right from the main characters to all the characters.
and it's been such a wonderful experience to work with all of them. You know, we all have actually worked very closely with each other, and each one helping the
Helping
other.
the
That
other,
was very.
yeah.
See, it's not easy.
It is not.
The kind of costumes which you expect them to wear with those crowns. I mean, I've seen it practically myself. I mean, today's day and time where we want to just, dress up so
Easily,
we need comfort over anything else.
Right.
With that kind of costumes, to sit, to act, and to be there with your full spirit, or wait for hours for one actor to finish and then to come and play with dressing up whole with jewelry and everything. I think they have shown so much strength, and I'm telling you, I've learned so much from them.
So much, yeah.
Actors in Bombay, Bollywood, I think there's so much to learn from them. It goes,
sure.
so much goes around behind the camera.
Yeah.
The
That's
effort
true.
is
That's true. Yes, that's true. That can't
Commendable.
Be commendable. Yes. So years from now, when people remember this Ram, what do you hope they feel first? Devotion or relatability?
Both, and also I feel that this film will reach out to a lot more people who probably do not know Ramayana as a story, whether it is internationally. There's so many more countries, and this is probably our as in Indian, our chance to probably tell our stories on an international level, so that they can also know about this great story, this greatest story.
It is epic.
See, Ram stands for
Truth.
truth, power, and simplicity. He was born with these powers, but they came to play only later. So he Maryada Purushottam Ram, and that is what is important, and that will connect people. It's very, very important with this kind of endeavor what Namit and Nitesh is doing. I think it's going to reach a larger audience, bring them back towards what our Hinduism, our faith stands for.
Yes.
I think the timing is so right.
It is, like you put it, faith. All of us are looking for that faith.
With so much going around in the world, I mean, like, look at the way the geopolitical situation is shaping up. I think it's important to make people
Aware
connected,
and connect,
aware,
yes.
and remind them.
Very right. Very right. Okay. Okay. Just pivoting to from the Ramayan conversation, but which is that one actor you would still like to design for and you haven't designed yet?
Fortunately, we've been designing for great actors, and I'm also doing King,
Okay.
Shah Rukh Khan's King, where I'm designing for Abhishek's. I don't want to reveal much, but yeah,
Okay,
you'll see it's just around the corner. I think
Okay.
end of this year.
Right.
We've covered a lot of them, and there are a lot more.
Lot more.
work
Any
with.
any Hollywood actor with Devil Wears Prada releasing? Would you like to?
You know, honestly, I think more about directors
I
than
was about to
actors.
say that, yeah.
So there's so many directors I would like to work with because
Okay.
they all have a unique way, their own unique way of telling their stories, and that is what probably drives us to create those costumes. So actors का तो ठीक है मतलब the like we get excited because
Right.
obviously we are all
They're the
like-
face of the story.
Yeah,
and
and-
then the
like
director
you've
is
seen
at the
them
back
on
end.
the
but
big
it's
screen
but
and
but when you're making clothes and that whole you have to sit down a couple of times with the director and those teams and feed on the ideas with each other, and sometimes we're taking their suggestions, sometimes we're giving them ki, okay, let's do this way, and that whole process is very interesting, and that drives us to create costumes, and that is what, like, there's so many directors I really want to go
She's that
and-
one director.
you know, like in Delhi, we're one of the only, I think, designers who are based out of Delhi and still working in Bombay. And fortunately, a lot of directors have put their faith in us and made us like part of their huge projects. Although we live, like, the first apprehension is, oh, they live in Delhi.
Delhi, yeah.
But I told them always, I've given them reassurance that don't worry, nothing will be delayed, everything will come on time. But Delhi is home.
Oh, of
We're
course.
from Punjab. Our factories are in Noida. We've got so many carriers who've shifted with us from Punjab.
Oh.
The craftsmanship is very refined,
It is.
which can only happen in my factory. So that's the only request, and they've all agreed to it. We've been part of so many films, and even Household 4. There's this Bhoot Bangla coming. So there's small films also.
Okay,
Sometimes
okay.
they want something special. So Priyadarshan sir called me to Chennai to make me like understand this one character of Tabu, which is like releasing now.
Yes, yeah.
Yes. So it's wonderful. Actually, we enjoy those sessions with the directors.
Okay, you enjoy the sessions with directors
Yes.
more than
way
you
more,
know.
yeah. I
Way
mean,
more,
that
yes.
is our job, and
Right.
that's a fine way more interesting.
Way more interesting. Yeah. Thank you for this. I think this was far beyond costume, and it was about culture, it was about Ram, it was about faith, like you put it, it was about divinity. I think I hope
Always
the
a
divine
pleasure.
powers
Thank you
bless
so
us.
much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.